Alright, we live at all? Hello. Alright, am I live? Yes, I am live. Alright, severe weather coverage for, Hoosier Alley areas with storm initiation beginning with a 10% significant risk for tornadoes already being issued. For portions of northern Illinois and also portions of southern Illinois and southern Indiana and northern Kentucky. Here, hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta put my note real quick. Give me a second. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'll put my note. Alright. Alright, we already got some mild inflow here on this cell. Pretty good. Oh my god. How do these work? Alright. This might do something. Yeah, this is just hail spam right now, but as this heads further east, could see some stuff popping off, and we're gonna wait for the southern mode to initiate as well. My voice is not really here today. And I'm streaming as well. Here's where your 10 sig risk is. Right here. I'm going to pull up our VWP holographs. And I'm going to get one for Davenport. Ah. Okay, that makes sense. Not really. Chicago environments. Interesting. But KVWX down here for the main threat. KVWX, holy crap, it's primed. So is KPAW. Oh my god. Yeah, now down here is primed. I got some storms coming in. Yeah, this storm's popping off. It's blowing up fast.
I don't see anything that would be, anything to get too excited over. Let's turn that off for right
just
now.
Just a quick question for you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Let's see, 54, 43. What's your question?
Why are these storms firing ahead of the cold front? It's probably going to be like a dumb question, but what does the science behind that?
It's not a dumb question, but you do have a pretty good environment for storms to form. It wouldn't be tornadic because it's technically elevated in nature. It's only at about 46-degree dew points, but you have enough forcing ahead of the cold front to really get something trying to go. Another thing, I think this is attached to a boundary.
Cumulonimbus boundary.
Actually, it is. That could be some some of the reasons why it's blowing up as much as it is.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So this is what you look for. And yeah, that's why. Wow.
More storm initiation in Mercer County, Illinois, now even further south of Davenport.
Yeah,
I
a lot
can
of
see
people
that.
aren't gonna notice this, but the whole reason it formed is because you are right along that boundary that kind of got it forming there. This is your cold front, cold air behind, and then warm, moist air ahead of it, but it's really
70
towards the
DBZ.
south. But this is where your warm front is, by the way. So it's like very close to the warm front, something that we're gonna have to keep a extremely close eye on.
This thing just hit 70 DBZ.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So let's see real quick.
That is
and you can
crazy.
see it on
It might be forming into
radar.
2 storms or doing a merge on the right side.
So we're gonna wait for this new scan, and I got about 62, 64, something around there, and we can see what our hail composites at the moment. We're at about, give or take, if this can load. Might have to turn off the product and turn
This
it back
one,
on.
this one's definitely a hailer.
Yep. Oh, by the way,
There is definitely hail in this. It's just not wanting
if you
to
look
really
at like
show.
the if you look at the Chicago and Evansville and profiles down near K-Paw and all that, and the Chicago profile, they are kind of primed for tornadic activity.
Now, your main thing is you're not going to get much rotation with this. You can see the light, very, very dark green colors. Indicates there's not really much rotation with this, but as it goes on, it could. And you know what? Might as well draw a storm track on it.
There's
so we can
also,
get
like,
some
a large
times out for it here. So about 1.5 inches going for 60 miles per hour. Let's try to track this here. What do I have this set to? We're going to do it for 60 minutes. So about here, it's moving. We'll call it 25 miles per hour. So not many areas for it to impact populated wise, but could start to impact south of Rochelle, those regions. Then you get along, I think that's, what road network is this? I-35 or 39. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get to I-39, but there are so many people in this VC. I think it's grown.
The weather radar that I'm looking at is a weather app on my phone, which is like, your general run-of-the-mill weather app. It's showing that the storms that storm, and it's supposed to fire, I think. It's gonna, there's gonna be more storms along with this one, but I don't know if y'all are watching my stream, but it's literally just supposed to go up this way. So it's literally just supposed to cut a path through Highland Park, Mundelein, and Waukegan. It just goes dead north for some reason. I don't know why, but it almost looks like it's coming from the Chicago area, and then at the last second over to Cal, but just shoots straight north.
Yeah,
Which I
see
find
the
weird.
70 dBz now, so it's...
Well, you gotta remember, it wouldn't always be a straight track, so it could really go.
This
any
star, you can't
spots.
really, it's gonna go towards this region here. There's,
Like
it's the last time to change.
And you...
Hail size, though, if this wants to load properly,
Yeah,
for one...
I'm getting about 69 dBz on this. This is a lot of hail.
About to watch that storm.
And so we're getting, give or take, 1.5 inch hail. So something around that as it enters the more rural areas of northern Illinois. But nothing all too severe at the moment. It's going to continue to work its way over. SatRad I don't think is working still, so I'm going to have to do a little fix here to get that back working if it wants to get the newest scan. There we go. We're going to do about 1.5 hours. You can see the storm really starting to fire up. It's along a boundary, so it's very easy for it to snap into the environment and you get a storm, and basically it's faster than this loop can even show it. forming. So.
Just went 2 inches on not radar Omega, on GR2.
Yep, 2.5.
Yeah, saying 2.5 on this. Dang.
So the storm behind it, it looks like it's trying to rotate. Like
That's not gonna do much. That's all behind the warm front. It's all elevated.
Multiple more storms south of that other one have formed. Looks like 3 little blips are going up near Reynolds, Orion, south of Coal Valley, and one near Alito.
Yeah, I'm seeing all of these starting to go up. I don't
But there's
like how big that is.
What's it called? If I can loot this up as well. Let's do. I'm gonna go back to GR2. There's a lot of hail, mainly because it's right along the boundary. There's a lot of little mesoscale boundaries at play here, which, in theory, would
We got another little blip that just formed up south of this SVR.
Yeah, Texas Man did an analysis. It's kind of right where this is here, trying to form and get going. You have a little warm front towards the south at play, and then dry line pushing into the region. That's giving you a bigger type of threat.
Another storm about to start south of Alito. Another storm could be starting to
I gotta
fire
organize this a little bit here, because this is not saying it, Chief.
Yeah, I'm seeing that storm.
Yeah, just watch. Somebody watch. We need.
Let's do-
southwest of Alito, and then not the storm south of Davenport, though.
They're saying the main threat's gonna start maybe within around after 6 p.m. Central. So give or
this
take
isn't
an
much.
hour and a half.
This isn't in the High Cape, High Dews area. That's gonna be more to the south and east.
About an hour away from Champaign. I'm debating about going a little bit more north after that. So yeah.
Yeah, Jacob, I would head to probably the Paxton area. At the most north you should go would probably be Kankakee.
Yeah, I was thinking Paxton or
kind of
Dwight
bad.
or something like that.
Dwight's a great area too. That's where Reed Timmer is right now.
Oh, Reed's in Dwight? That's funny. Alright.
Is his
Dwight's
mic
about
tight
3
muffled for
hours.
y'all?
Dwight's about 3 hours, yeah.
He's also talking on a car, so.
Oh,
Yeah, this
that's right.
Yeah, I'm talking to you through a car, and I'm doing push to talk on a car, so I'm looking at the road, and then just to my phone.
So yeah, this
thing
is your dry
saying
line,
40,000
right about
feet.
here. You can see kind of bulging through
Yeah,
a
I'm
little
seeing
bit.
that dry line.
Wind's going about there, and then maybe a little. Yeah, your warm front.
The southern spot near 2000 Cape is probably where we're gonna have stuff.
Basically,
happen.
Jacob, just go anywhere in the Grundy County area.
You could also have some time in north of Peoria.
Okay,
I am back. Anything new going on?
okay, north of Peoria is going to be too far, but yeah.
North of P.
North of Peoria.
It feels weird. It feels weird how familiar we've gotten with Peoria recently. I don't know what it is.
I know it's a little
Hey,
weird.
Jacob.
Yeah, I don't know why, but everything suddenly is like Peoria.
You're about 20-30 miles more north. If you look northeast of KILX, there is an agitated cumulus field. It's about to interact with the dry line. For the next 2 hours, things are probably going to end up being more hail dominant, more than tornado producing, unless you get something like that cell in northwest Illinois. That I could see the vision with that one, but it would need to be a nutty mesoscale upset. It's just north of the warm front. But about 30 miles more north, maybe 40, if you really want to risk it. Play that cumulus field northeast of KILX as the dry line comes in and wait 2 hours. After that, then things are going to probably go tornadic very quickly.
I can see that.
White, but I'm going to need to haul butt because all the good areas are like 3 hours from here, so.
Just gonna let you know, then severe just went severe considerable.
Yep, like minute ago.
Dang.
Chicago is the best play at the moment unless we get one that's going to track straight through. Honestly, let me take a look at the map again.
Yeah, they did go damage threat considerable for almost 2-inch hail.
I could see that, but Also, it's really hard to tell at the moment.
There's no exact pinpoint.
That storm south of
just-
Alito.
It's just a rough idea what we're giving out right now, but
That storm
So
south
when do
of
we think the tornado threat is gonna really hike up?
after 7 p.m.
Supposedly.
Eastern.
Your
Yes,
best bet
Once
is
they
to go
can get into a favorable
Anthony,
environment.
or Kankakee to Champaign to Pontiac to Bloomington. Those are going to be the areas you really want to focus around, Jacob.
He's wondering in time sense, so it's around like 0 to
Time.
010. 010Z.
Somebody in weather lobby just
How
summoned
far are
the
you from
mods.
Champaign?
I have an Illinois question. Why are you guys focusing more on
You gonna-
central Illinois instead of the
I'm
most recent update of northeast
I'm
and
gonna-
south leaning?
Because
reason-
that's like the
On
main
that is,
threat.
that's what things are probably going to initiate off the dry line with that cumulus field. We watch the beginning and then we stage it from there instead of focusing straight on the risk there. It's not
Yeah,
going to
it's
be like
not-
they form in Chicago and then go over the lake. They're going to form southwest and then go.
Yeah, and I'm about an hour away from Champaign. I'm gonna be there by 6:05. That's where I'm at estimated.
That's not bad. That's not bad. You should be able to make it at or right before initiation. You probably should position a little more north than Champaign. Pontiac might genuinely be a good option.
Thank you for the answer. If it helps anybody, I am physically in Bloomington. Like, that's where I live. If anybody wants to see the sky, I'll be in the chat if anybody wants to see it.
Probably
All
blue
right.
skies galore.
Well,
probably.
It's exactly like the line. If you look to the north and west, you see the cumulonimbus clouds and all of that going on. But if you look to the south, there isn't a cloud.
I'm very
How
interested.
does it feel outside in general?
It feels beautiful, but it's dry. It is not a humid one.
No, I'd say it's pretty humid. I'd argue that.
So yeah, we're gonna do a more detailed frontal analysis real quick.
Let's go.
Nice.
So
I could be wrong. I'm from the south, so my
This VC is packing. Holy crap.
warm front right about here.
Yeah. Tell me
Low
about it.
pressure is probably in this region here, and then towards the bottom part, you have a dry line pushing on through. Cold front's going to be coming in from... Oh, it's not a cold front color. Cold front's going to be coming in from behind, pushing throughout the region, cold air with it. My main thing with this is what we are going to kind of see is this moisture trying to pull more north. And with this, you can get more kind of a localized environment when this pushes on through near the low pressure over into Chicago. So that's kind of where it's going to stand for right now, depending if it goes more north or south. But I will say if I can kind of touch this.
Texas Man just posted a
Bar
pretty
right
good sounding
here.
with Hodo.
So it's definitely, I don't know if you see that, Josh, but it's affecting its way north. So
If Radar Omega could work right now, that'd be lovely.
So that's
Yeah,
where we
that's all
kind
about-
of stand right now. You have some storms trying to get going in.
New SVR
around
just
there.
went up south of Davenport for the storm heading towards Kelowna. And the one south of it, it looks like they're probably going to merge here pretty soon.
And then right about
Yeah.
here, I mean, these storms aren't going to do nothing right now, Josh. These are in
I
46 degree
actually
Ds.
disagree with that. Wafts looks pretty good over there. It's a little dry, but you have boundaries over there in northwest Illinois as well
That's
as
still pushing it, though. It's in 46 degree dew points with, I mean, you have a low pressure, yeah, but I just...
It's made attempts at low-level mesocyclones.
I ain't truthing it.
Wait, is Hunter chasing?
God, no. He's
Oh,
only,
no,
God,
wrong
no.
Hunter, wrong
Proof
Hunter.
it, but I'm saying, hey, it's something to watch right now while we wait on the main event.
Yeah, it is
Well,
something
agreed.
to
depends on
watch.
what you're
I'm going to
talking
leave it on
about.
this
Hunter
real
Hurley
quick, and I
chasing
shall
this,
be
but
back.
the other Hunter, no.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
time does
Hunter,
the main
Hunter
event
Hurley.
start?
Now?
0 to 01Z.
Now? What is that in like normal time frame?
The hail threat's starting now, but the tornado threat doesn't start until, like, I would say 7:30 Central, 8 p.m. Central.
They said anytime after 6 p.m. Central.
Yep.
The storms are supposed to be out of the Chicago area by like 8 o'clock. So
6 p.m. Central is
No.
really early.
Again.
I don't think anything's gonna happen.
Another severe.
The storm was
fair.
out.
Again, like, I know they issued the tornado watch, but they were just being precautious. Also, I know how you said, oh, the stuff's going to be up by 8 p.m. Stuff, like, in a matter of 2 hours, you could have a lot of stuff happen.
Got a new severe from Mercer County.
I do
Just
want to
came through.
ask. I do want to ask anyone. I have a good friend in Lake Forest, Illinois, north of Chicago. Are they going to see anything other than hail? I'm not.
There's a tornado
Quite.
threat, yes.
There
there's
is.
a tornado
Okay.
threat. I went that out.
The tornado threat goes all the way up to Kenosha.
Okay, I see that.
Yes, it does.
The main threat is hail, but, you know.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on later on tonight for Louisville?
For where?
Louisville.
Sorry to interrupt, but we got 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. New one for Alito.
Yes,
let me look
also,
at it.
Freddie McKinney is going live. Reed Timmer and Vince will also be going live within the next 5 minutes, so everything's going live at this point. Oh, I remember that. Remember back in January last year whenever Vince Welty got off the highway and there was that random wedge on the 2% in Williamsburg?
Yep.
I'll
was
be
fun.
setting up my
January
live when I get
16th.
to.
Damn, this voice chat's surprisingly calm. That's really nice, guys. Wow.
Don't you dare.
Don't jinx it.
Don't
Don't jinx it.
I swear to God.
Don't jinx it.
All the people saying don't jinx.
I'm gonna.
I
I'll get my
actually
live
like
set up
having. I actually like having ears.
Yes.
Guys, did we hear what the other guy said? I don't think he said anything. What did he say? I don't think anybody's gonna jinx anything. I'm not sure what you guys
Shut
are talking
up.
about.
So, about Illinois, one thing to be aware of is today's like the first very nice day, and where I'm at, there's usually not much traffic, but traffic is actually very intense at this time because it's dinner time and everybody's coming back from wherever they were spending the day. So
It was nice for like an hour here in Pittsburgh. It's so bipolar. It was rain, then cloud, then sun, and then rain, and then cloud.
I
It's
got full.
bipolar
It was
here.
cloudy the whole day, and I got drenched on.
I just
Are the
share that
storms
so
elevated?
who's driving.
Yes.
Right now.
Storms are
Yes, they
elevated
are.
right now.
Yeah.
They're just to the north of the warm front, I believe.
I really wouldn't call that a
Vince
warm
Welty is now
front,
live
but
in
alright.
Piper City, Illinois.
Whatever that is.
I
They're
mean,
north of
if you're
something.
not thinking that's a warm front, ask Mason. He'll explain it when he comes back.
More of like a moist front.
Alright.
Alright, so Vince
We
and Freddie
are-
are both in Illinois.
So
Hey, Bloomington guy, can you look to your southwest? Tell me, do you see any cumulus?
I am the
Bro,
Bloomington guy. If
let
you
me
bear
see.
with me about 1 minute, I'm
Mason,
going
these don't look very good.
Well, you're also looking at storms that aren't even in the area to produce anything good.
Someone had
So-
posted in Weather Lobby. Someone had posted
Anywho.
on Facebook. Someone had said that
So
they're
we have
Noah chasers heading out with Dow.
Oh, they're an Olney?
I'm not
Oh,
sure
that's,
if this. I'm
that's
not
right
sure if this
by,
is misinformation
no.
or not.
No, that's got the National Weather Service logo on there. That's
No, I
It's
mean, like,
really
I-
if they
I mean,
pull.
like,
If they
Dow.
pull,
It
I
could
will
be
be able
old.
to pull the data in Guru.
I know
That's
that
the Loves in Olney. I've been
Well,
I've
yeah,
been to
that's
Olney
a,
multiple times. That's the Loves there. I can confirm
Okay,
that's
so
real.
that's not fake. So then
Okay.
they got the Dows out, huh?
Y'all just had.
So,
y'all just had.
It's
the-
5 p.m. We're gonna go over some warnings, and let's see what we have so far. So, storms are trying to fire along North Illinois as expected. These aren't going to be tornadic at the moment, which is good since they're not really in the best environment. I'll overlap the current dew points. You can kind of see that, it's on the edge of being kind of tornadic and elevated. So if it can get near a front that is not very elevated, for instance, this storm right here, it's kind of entering the dew points, which would be decent enough, but I don't think these are going to do nothing immediately until it can reach towards this area, which would be more favorable for any type of severe weather. But I don't want to kind of go through a few storms here and see. So this one was the first one along the boundary to fire. That is warned for, let's see here, 1.25 inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds. Not much rotation with this, which is good, but there is a very good amount of hail still, but all of these are going to have their own little chance to get going with hail. So you have about 1.6 inch, 1 inch, and about another 1.6 inch there. So
I'm wondering, Mason,
good amount
you
of
say,
hail with it, but overall not bad. I think all would have the threat to. The only one would be this one, which wouldn't be all too big, but it's definitely still there. And as you go over towards the south, these two might merge, but my only issue with this is that this is very close to the cold front. So what could happen is this just overtakes it and this all becomes linear, which would kind of lead it to where these need to do their own thing and these would just be a QLCS type threat. But nonetheless, we are watching them. I don't see anything rotation-wise with it at the moment. Maybe a little bit near here. I don't think that's actually true rotation. It might be, but it does kind of die. I want to see what shear has for it. And yeah, nothing much really with that. But towards the south here, I don't think this has any rotation as well. Maybe a little bit of broad rotation as you get into Joy in those areas. But overall, we still got some time to cook. Dry line / warm front still is in about this region, so in theory, if it can push a little more north, maybe it gives them a better environment to work with, but overall, I don't have my hopes up at the moment. However, if anything can form ahead of that near Kankakee, or those regions, maybe you get a little something. But overall, just a waiting game, about 2,000 cape or so.
Hey,
So definitely good amount to work with.
Who was asking about Bloomington, Illinois, looking to the southwest?
That was Joshua Evans.
Yeah, do you see the cumulus popping up right now?
No, everything looks pretty healthy. Everything's high altitude and looks pretty friendly. Nothing serious, but to the north, I saw some cumulonimbus clouds.
Not cumulonimbus, cumulus.
No cumulus clouds at this point.
Okay, that's a question I was wanting answered. Okay, I'm really watching your area if we get cumulus clouds. The dry line should be pushing over you very soon.
I have a 69 dBz over Coal Valley going into Colena. The hail car is going to go straight to the town.
That's the one that we've been watching for a while. That's just going to be a kind of hail threat. This is, yeah, pretty close to that region there. We're getting... We're in very close proximity to the Doppler, so it might not be exactly the best data, but I want to see hail size on it. Yeah, could get a decent amount there.
Mr. Walty is already streaming, and he is on the ground over... It looks like
hold up.
He's heading to that storm right now.
Did you say Vince DeWalty?
Oh, crap. Walty. Sorry. Crap. Misread. Crap.
DeWalt.
That's beautiful. Vince DeWalt.
Bro's making
DeWalt, let's go.
Yeah, bro.
Vince Walty, sorry.
We will never live that down.
Raised live over by Rutland, Illinois.
I think I see the dry line, but I don't really know what entails a dry line besides the lack of cloud.
So
what's it called?
Vince Walty is in Chatsworth,
So
Illinois?
this is the Wofus sounding, currently where the hail is, and you can see that this is really going to stay elevated, as I thought, for the time being. Not really a tornadic threat with it. I can do a wrap proximity sounding, which I think we are going to do.
I'm just curious
it's going to be right about, if I had to pick an area, let's do dew points. Let's try...
There is some rotation over Colina.
It's very broad, though.
Don't worry
about
It's dying out more.
Yeah. Instead of the storm to the south, but it looks like there's...
I'm getting 71.5, or actually, I'm getting 72.5 decibels on Quad
So
Cities.
let's do wrap. We're
Quad
going
Cities?
to
Right.
do...
I trust your chicken.
KVYS.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
KVYS. And then let's
I don't like that at all.
3. No, we're gonna do 2 hours from now. I'm trying to
So
get a
Mason,
sounding out
that's what you guys are using to get those.
there. For what?
To grab those soundings.
Some people use this. Some people use Sharp Pi. It really just depends. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna be pretty iffy, but I think this surface level, if this
Holy crap. 73, 74, 74, and going into Colina. That is some big hail.
Anyways,
75.
it's not gonna want to do that. So, anywho, this is kind of in the path of it. You can see near the surface. I think maybe we keep the surface inversion, so this could be more of a large hail type threat. It is something to watch, though. Your E-cape is about 2,000, which is pretty high. Let's see.
We got a new storm initiating on Bureau County, north of Princeton. It's a little further southeast of the current storms.
I uploaded a photo of the sky in Bloomington to the southwest if you were still curious. It's in weather-media.
Man, what's
People
the
have their
risk
weather
doing?
rating.
Come on, dry line.
By the way,
Damn, even Reed is out here? That's when you know it's serious, when Reed is out.
Yeah, he's in.
I mean, to be
Winona,
fair,
Illinois,
he's everywhere.
East of Peoria. Yeah, Reed is everywhere. Just so you know, there's like 7 clones of him. He's got 7 of him.
Yeah, we have actual dry line initiation now west of Peoria.
We do?
Yeah, I mean,
what?
I
Yeah,
was
there's
on
towers going
I was on I-39 for a while today, and I saw a lot of like amateur chaser vehicles.
Yeah, that's gonna be your biggest danger over a tornado. Just gonna call it how it is.
Do storm
I'm not
such
seeing.
as
Oh yeah.
Only
There
in
we go, east of
Switzerland.
Peoria. Yep, it's
and
there.
and such as Reed, do they have sirens on their cars or no?
No, that's illegal.
Some do, but we're not gonna go.
Well, yeah,
over
some
that.
do. We don't talk about those ones though. Certainly the
So,
one viral.
anyways, back to the topic at hand. We do still have. I mean, none of this is rotation, just some hail. I am kind of concerned as this pushes into. It's kind of gonna go into Davenport Metro, but kind of near these areas, you could get some larger hail. DBZ about 65 or so, which is pretty high, but if you use this, about 1.6.
Yeah, we do have storms fire. 2 little cells firing west of Peoria.
See that now.
Those are gonna be our ones to watch right there.
Where?
So, Mason, I have some news.
What's your news?
Woffs just slam dunked Chicago.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
The National Weather the National Weather Service is the National Weather Service for Chicago or Des Moines issuing these Davenport issuing these severe thunderstorms warnings for Colina and them.
Davenport's WFO.
Hey Josh, you said there was initiation near Peoria, but that's past the dry line. That's like
weird. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'll show the dry line again. It's pretty much.
There's obviously showers.
We have about
Right
40,000
here.
echo tops now.
I'm
So
going
the 5
into
p.m. analysis thing should be in pretty soon, but your dry line is probably right about here now, if I had to guess. So about this region here, and then
these storms
warm
have some pretty
front.
cloud taps.
Warm front would probably embedded into this area here. So
would the dry line be in front of or behind Peoria?
Peoria is.
It's just about central Illinois.
It's behind Peoria.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, no, it's in front of Peoria, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
mean,
I don't.
There
I
could be
think so.
tiny. There might be a tiny cell near Hudson popping.
In front, do you mean to the west or east?
West.
I mean, if you look at dew point maps, you can see that it's 53 over 44. 44 Peoria, 58 Ottawa. So.
Yeah, so I assume it's east. Yeah, might be a low storm near Bloomington that might pop up right on the dry line.
All right, I'm gonna go live in a little bit.
In Bloomington, just to the northwest of Bloomington, there's a wind farm, and that sometimes sets off the radar stuff.
Ooh, I'm a nuke.
I see.
Nice.
Oh, and there's a wind farm to the immediate east of Bloomington as well, but
So, new severe thunderstorm warning out. This is a
Massive
pretty
severe thunderstorm.
big
Holy
warning. So, this
crap.
is going to include not Rockford, but Rochelle is included in that. You have Dixon, parts
Yeah.
of I-39, Oregon, Polo, those kind of areas. I'll draw on some road names to get a general idea where this will be located. So, this is going to be I-88. Right about here, you have Highway 52. And
Illinois
then
72 is in that neighborhood.
I-39 right about here.
That's a
And then,
cool
yeah, right
tool.
here you have Highway 30. So it is moving in about this direction. I think they did do a pretty wide warning, but
That,
nonetheless, everyone in here will probably see some gusty winds to about 60 miles per hour and some good hail with it. We'll do another storm track to get a.
I'm gonna wait a little bit for this. I'm not gonna end the stream. I'm just gonna sit you on Mason for now. So y'all can see what's going on. Actually, I can't really. My bad. I'll be back in a bit. I'll leave you guys with the GR2. Or confirmed tornado on the ground. Oh, sorry, what was that? Confirmed tornado on the ground. Confirmed a tornado on the ground, just south of Atkinson, Illinois. Get to your safe space, take cover. We've had a few tornado warnings issued in that time.
Ring box. Yeah, damaging tornado, golf ball sized tail, weather spotters confirmed a tornado.
I don't. Damaging tornado. Please no PDS. Please no PDS.
It's weak rotation,
Okay,
so
well,
no.
It's relatively weak.
Yeah, Hunter
for
May
the
on Twitter
moment.
is under this thing.
Someone we've been watching.
I'm about to get to my vantage point, and the sunset on these clouds gives kind of a good detail. I'll try and photograph them, and you'll see they look a lot more aggressive.
So I will say this is still a little bit broad. It's starting to get its act together a little bit more. We'll go shear rate, and it is starting to increase. We might get to the extreme range, which is the kind of the third max one you can get with the rotation product. So would show it would be strengthening a little bit more, but when you go over to velocity, it's there. It's a very tight couplet though. And that does go up in height. So weather spotters are confirming it on the ground, possibly doing damage. But this one is the other one near here that we're watching until 6:45. 2-inch hail, if anything, but this is another kind of radar zone that it's hard to see. It's a halfway point between no radar to radar. So we're not getting the best look with it. We might get actually a debris ball here soon. So Anowin, those regions, know anyone there? That's definitely the next place to take shelter. It is making a beeline kind of right for that area. We'll go and put on the velocity products and do a little storm track on that here. So with the way it's moving, we'll check that out to about 21 miles an hour.
CC drop.
So right about here. So give or take about 6:15. So you have about a good 10 minutes to take shelter. Don't want to wait for it. Apparently some sort of correlation drop. Maybe right about here.
Hey, Mason, Reed has got a funnel on the ground.
A funnel on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody posted in the weather lobby.
They're in Compton, Illinois.
So if the funnel's on the ground, it is a tornado warning at that point. Or a actual tornado on the ground.
To observed.
So Reed has that there. He's going through. Weather lobby is weather lobby.
Yep.
Storm relative. And then what we're going to do is put on the debris tracker and maybe a little drop in the CC. You kind of want these all correlated together, which we're not having at the moment. Is still something to keep a close eye on, but maybe on the next scan we get something. It could just not be hitting anything on the ground to loft debris in the air, thus giving you a correlation drop, but still keeping a close eye on it here. I want to take a look at surface analysis real quick and
From
kind
radar
of
view,
see
it looks like it's mainly over open field.
where we sit at this time. And you can see, if we put on the infrared product,
New scan is looking weird.
we're in about 52 over 70, 52, 58 here. So if I had to 100% guess, we're going to actually zoom this out here and put on our product, which is our kind of dew point. So your dry line is kind of weird. It's something like this. This convection, I think, is being overruled by a lot of dry air, but your main cells are right here, which I was talking about a lot earlier today, near the low pressure. So if you can get something that's more established, it could probably do something, maybe even significant with time. Which is something that we have to
Velocity just ramped
watch.
up a lot on the newest scan.
I want to line some stuff up here real quick. So our low-level jet is... I want to say this could be a reason why it's not very strong, is because you kind of lacking that good low-level jet, which models were showing for a few days, is that your good LOJ is towards the south, which could be a saving grace for not getting anything all too significant, which we hope for. But even then, it's kind of on the point where maybe we do or maybe we don't, and our meso-analysis page would be able to 100% kind of show us if that is the case, and if it would like to load for me. Yeah, you have a lot smaller photographs, so that could very much be the case. However, don't tune your eye away. I know we have storm towards north, but down here, if you get anything established, you could possibly get something on the ground. That is
Mason, I would
more
look at-
significant towards the south, but
I would look at velocity. The reflectivity
up
is not
here,
looking as good, but the velocity
your
looks good.
what's it called? Photographs are a lot less elongated, which is very nice. So let's go back to the Doppler, zoom in a little bit, and I think Atkinson is going to occlude here pretty soon. It is getting into its inflow and getting a lot messy, so that is very nice. Good sign for Anawan. If you're still near that region, you gotta be in shelter, but it's good for the fact of this may have it miss you guys to the north, which is ultimately the most hoped for case scenario, but this is still some rotation you don't want to be playing with, so over I-80 at this point, I would say moving up to about State Route 78, State Route 6 is what we're going to be watching. If we put that over with the shear rate, that is, yep, big area of strong rotation, as expected. What we are going to do is what we did before, is kind of line this all up and get an idea if we do have a correlation coefficient drop. Which if we do this and put on the debris tracker, it's... I can't 100% call that a correlation drop. However, it is reported by spotters. It could just very much not be hitting anything to show a CC drop. This warning towards the south was removed, which I do agree with. Cambridge, those areas... Still be on a lookout, but you're not under any sort of formal tornado warning.
This tornado warning was
for Henry County.
Northwestern Bureau County in north central Illinois.
Extended as still an observed tornado.
So, we're going to go ahead and put another observed warning. That is the new polygon. This is still by the Quad City, so that is the area that I said before would probably be inside of that. So that about 20 minutes ago. So now it's time for the State Route 40 region, I-80 area, State Route 34. Those regions to get into shelter. So Princeton, you have New Bedford, you have Manlius. Those regions moving through, and even if you don't get a tornado, you will get some pretty sizable hail with this. They are moving it to observe. One thing I will do for our sake here is change a little thing, so when these are confirmed, they change to a more pink color, which would help us kind of see it a little bit better. We do...
Mason, if you're able to use the official National Weather Service colors, that helps a lot.
For what it's worth, I am at the south end of a lot of these cloud formations in Bloomington, and I see the clouds. The top of them are starting to look a lot more like an anvil-shaped cloud. I don't know if that helps or hurts anybody's perspective on the matter, but I wanted to share that.
So if it is an anvil-type shape, that means it is a more established storm. Not necessarily that it is, you know, anything tornado-wise, but they are starting to kind of break through that cap and get more established. So that would be a sign that they are kind of strengthening. Tornado warning remains in effect. So that's going until about 7. So we have the top of the hour for this whole area under the warning. But like I was saying before, towards the south, you're really losing that good rotation. It's starting to get a little more disorganized, which has been the trend with a lot of these. We did have a confirmed tornado report with these here, but even then, there's something limiting it in the atmosphere. See damaging tornado, weather spotters are confirming that. We still have a warning towards the north, which is a little bit interesting there. We're going to look at KLOT and kind of get a general idea, and something is telling me that this is going to be kind of probably more of a hail threat. It has some upper level broad rotation. Sure, it is something to watch, but I don't really think this is a die-hard thing to keep an eye on. But nonetheless, if you're on these regions here, so 251, you also have, I'm going to have to draw a road label to see what this is. But that is going to be I-39, you have State Route 251, State U.S. Highway 30. So those kind of regions, and also U.S. Route 52 would be in the path of this. Let's go ahead and turn off our tools here. So they are going to expand that other one, like I said before, but this is going to all push into the Chicago region. Will they be severe? Probably. Will we have a tornado threat? Maybe. Something that we have to watch, but not nothing to be overly concerned about at the moment. But they are starting to move in, so if you're in Elgin, you probably hear some rumbles of thunder starting to get going near Hickory, those regions there. I want to go to R real quick. Let's go back to Davenport. And I want to pull up the shear rate to see, and it's still pretty strong on the product there. It is showing that it's probably still could have a tornado on the ground. Anawan, you're very close to it, so you're going to probably want to be in shelter if you're not already. And even the areas along here, we will do a storm track on it so we can get every area kind of inside of it. But I really think this might go to kind of more hail dominant on the backside. Maybe you can spit out a tornado, but nonetheless, this is probably a precautionary warning, but definitely something that you need to watch and you need to take action on for this here. I want to see hail size just real quick, and yeah, if you don't get a tornado, you're definitely going to get hammered by some hail. You got about an inch there, going up to maybe an inch and a half of some hail, and even with these cells towards the north, but we really haven't seen no major tornado threat try to get going with this, which is very good, and that could be for a few reasons. What I will do real quick, since nothing isn't all too significant with this at the moment, is look at the latest HRRR. Actually, no, look at the latest RAP model. Because what this will do is let us take little proximity soundings to kind of see what we have right now in these storms as they move on throughout time. So you see some storms already going. We want to get a general idea of the environment. So let's look about 23Z, which is right now. Let's go over to 0Z and look ahead of these cells, what they're going to be going into. And the same issue of you don't have a lot of good shear, and your LCLs, like I mentioned before, I think seems like it was correct that your LCLs are just very high, so it's leading to more of a higher end base level for these storms. But nonetheless, I think these storms are going to struggle a little bit. Reports of a large tornado west of Anawan. Don't know how reliable that source is, but nonetheless, we are going to keep an eye on it. Someone could maybe verify that for accuracy. I would not be surprised,
yeah,
but
I'm
at the same
looking for it
time,
right
I'm not sure if that's actually the case. Velocity is there, but is kind of a lot smaller in nature. We're going to go look at the kind of analysis side of things, and you can definitely see it goes up with height. It's definitely there. There's a lot of hail with this, and funnel cloud east of Sublette, Illinois. So that's going to be over near this region here. I think this is the area. Yeah, Sublette. Someone has a funnel cloud on the storm. So if you're near this region, going into Lee, those areas, I-39, I-51, need to be in shelter. But mainly here is
Mason, that's
where
kind
we've
of
been
an
watching.
old post.
606. No, it's 606.
That was an hour. Oh wait, never mind.
Quad Cities update at the tornado warned storm. So this is why we gotta take reports with a grain of salt, because on the one hand you have large, violent, catastrophic, unsurvivable tornado, when in reality it's a high base storm that just has a lot of rain around it. So again, don't let your guard down, but we just haven't had any solid report of a large tornado on the ground. But if it does happen, we would see a report right now. This was the actual confirmed report before that Storm Chaser reported a tornado on the ground. 3 miles southwest of Atkinson, and since then it may have lifted. We don't have a correlation coefficient drop, so we can't 100% confirm it, but your rotation would be around here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to next rad, we're going to turn that off, we're going to go over to our correlation product, and you can see maybe there's a little bit of something, but it's really not nothing that's all too significant, I would say, at the moment. You still want to be in shelter, but it seems a lot cluttery. There's a lot of hail with it. There's a lot of blockage the beam of the next red has to go through to really indicate that there would be debris with this, because if you think about it before, when it goes through here, radar beams don't really like hail too much. They can get scattered sometimes. You can get some false echoes with it. So it's going to be hard to tell 100% if this is on the ground, but we're going to treat it as if it is and say that it would be technically over State Route 75, or 78 rather, right now, and would be heading towards the, probably New Bedford without time, or throughout time rather, so nothing that much at the moment. In all reality, they might actually have to cancel this warning or edit it to take out State Route 34. So I'm almost confident to say that if you're on State Route 34, you might be good for now, still want to be in shelter, but I think mainly New Bedford is going to have to be included in a warning here pretty soon. Let's turn back on our tornado warning header, and you can see it's still going. This cell might be trying to get another appendage on it, and that's a lot of broader rotation. Let's go back to shear rate and see, and shear rate is still holding strong. That there's probably some chance that we have a lot of rotation with it here. Could very much have occluded, but let me see. So no real photos with this here.
My God, is my being not.
Let's see what Baron has. Their BTI is at about a 5, which anything at about 8 is pretty high. So their values also aren't the highest. So I'm not sure if it's 100% on the ground. And there's another storm chaser over on the Compton, Illinois storm, which is right here. And this one is a little bit more iffy that I talked about before. I think immediate tornado potential, no, but that could of course change throughout time, that we would have to keep a extremely close eye on. And another thing are your echo tops. These are a lot taller compared to your storms right about here, which does kind of play an effect on it, but yeah, very confusing. Josh, what are you thinking if you're still somewheres in here? I cannot see anything. Still another bit of strong rotation moving through the area north of I-80 once again. New severe thunderstorm warning to go over and talk about. That should query very soon, or actually that's an upgrade to the warning, so they're not going to call this a considerable threat, I believe. No, I think might be considerable, but a tornado is now possible with the cell. So what they're going to do, instead of keeping this as a tornado warning, they're going to put it as a SVR tornado possible tag, which shows that you're going to get some severe thunderstorm conditions, but you could also see a brief tornado out of this. So just a little something right there to note. Current time, 6:14 Central Daylight, or Central Standard Time, rather. And we're watching tornadoes. New scan, rotation tracker. It has gone down a little bit. If you remember before, it was a lot more wider. It's now gone into a little tiny region. So I think what I said before is kind of acting upon this, that there's just a lot of dry air. Your surface is not really good. And you also have not the best hodographs. You want more enlarged, beefier hodographs for this here. So, again, they are confirming it. The BTI with this, as of 6:06, was only about a 3, which, as I said before, Baron classifies anything over 8 to be pretty significant in nature with this here. So Rip Ryan stream. I don't know what that's
Mason,
about.
Ryan's stream is saying they may have someone with a tornado on the ground.
As I said before, my policy is if it is someone who is reputable or we have a video, that's what we tend to go off of. Again, we're going to treat these as if they were on the ground, but I'm not going to take a large wedge on the ground report unless it's, someone who can actually identify a storm and show what's actually happening on the ground there. But there is still some rotation with this, and spotters were still confirming a tornado on the ground. Whether how big it is, that doesn't really matter. And this is over more rural areas. So, new warning by the Weather Service. I think they just brought that down to radar indicated. So yes, radar indicated rotation, so they're no longer confirming it on the ground. Does that mean it's not on the ground? No. It could very much be, but as I said before, if it's not really hitting anything, you're just really seeing dust, which is hard to correlate on our debris tracker product. But really with this, you have a lot weaker rotation, and I think exactly what I just showed before on the rat proximity sounding, this might start to weaken. If you're still in manless or those areas, you still want to be in shelter, but it is starting to look a little bit better. We still have a very long event to go through, so we're not by any means over. This tornado watch goes until 10 p.m., and Chicago, you still have your threat to kind of go through, but overall, if you are in Peoria or these areas towards the south, you don't have a tornado risk. You're going to get a cold front and probably some snow later on, but really nothing tornado-wise with this, which is good. I think they are going to cancel this warning, probably.
I do see a potential another one in DeKalb. However, it's still kind of weak right now, so I don't think they're going to issue anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't
a lot of this is going to stay weak. It's just not really the best overall rotation with it. I'll look at Analyst Lab and kind of see what everyone's seeing. Maybe there was some TDSs. I personally didn't see anything that would have 100% showed that that was the case. But then something to keep a nice eye on, and Elijah got food. Okay.
Always when Elijah
That's
gets food.
great. So, back to the radar instead of all that
There is quite
there.
the funnel on Adam Lucio's stream right now with the lightning flashes. Up that last stream, it just dissipated, or last flash, it just dissipated.
And where is he at exactly? Is that going to be our tornado warning cell? There might be one of these cells here. Wouldn't be surprised if this one. So, as I said before, it's trying to get another hook type shape with it. Trying to clean out its inflow a little bit around this region. So if you're towards the north, New Bedford, I think you're safe for right now, but really this area here is going to have a little bit of an issue. I would say nothing to be overly concerned about, but you are going to get some hail. Just don't go outside. Don't be by windows, and you'll be just fine. But specifically I-80 to I-40, and as I said before, Sheffield and areas along Mineral have been removed from the warning as it was a little bit too far south, but they did go ahead and correct that there. But a lot of I-80 is still included in it, so Princeton, those regions we are watching. We're going to look from the Chicago radar. They are not in sales, which gives us faster scans, which kind of sucks a little bit, but that was a lot of people got a screenshot of that. That's near
Mason,
Earlsville.
Mason, the storm near Pawpaw and Subfleet had on Ryan's stream a rope tornado on the ground.
So, not surprised. It looks pretty weak, which would be expected, as you don't have a lot of that good rotation. But another thing to note, I'm willing to bet we're looking only about at 3,000 feet, so we should be able to see kind of what's happening a little bit at the surface with this. But I'm not overly all concerned about it. I think that's why they're going to let this go into a severe thunderstorm possible, because you could have something like that, but it's a lot better than putting just everyone in a tornado warning for a very tiny cell that just briefly produces tornadoes. So I'm going to assume that's what the NWS's logic is, but then again, it could be for another reason. This one's a lot more embedded now. I don't have a lot of faith in this continuing to produce something. And even our shear product has went down a little bit. Before it was in the strong category. It's a lot more weak now. So that is a very good sign for the Manlius areas and Princeton areas over near there. And storm relative velocity also went down as well. So we are going to keep a close eye on this. And you guys are still on a tornado warning until the top of the hour. So you still got a good amount of time on it. But nothing all too bad. And you do have some hail with it, so there is some possibility you get some significant hail out of it, which is what this product is here. And if we put a size on it, I think it is underdoing this a little bit. I would say probably half an inch, or an inch and a half, rather, maybe a quarter of an inch. But wow, over near here, lots of hail. About 1.2 inch. So, let's see.
Look at Sycamore right here. Just to make
Yeah, that was the... Wow. I'm going to actually pull that up real quick for anyone that did not see it. This was on Ryan's stream, Earlsville. One of, I think they're Storm Chasers. Caught that, so... There you go. Even in a severe thunderstorm possible, you can still get a tornado. But I think this was a... maybe short-lived. I don't think it's still on the ground. I wouldn't expect it to still be on the ground, but your environment is still favorable to get something that's more long-lived in nature. That's what this product is here. It's your dew points mixed in with your radar and all that good stuff, and you can kind of notice you're in about 55 degrees, so what might actually happen, and what we've been seeing with that storm that did produce a tornado, is it's moving into juicier dew points, which storms need to kind of produce something more major in nature. So Chicago, Aurora, you guys are in a tornado watch, but you guys need to be on strict alert, very strict alert as we go over the next 3 hours or so. With it pushing into the region there, I did want to do a storm track, so we'll go ahead and track this out here. It's not going to be accurate, so I'm going to have to make this go to about 120 hours, or 120 minutes rather, not that long. We'll do about 80 minutes. We're going to overcut it a little bit. So this is where you get a lot of the higher population areas to start to query into here, so... Let's see who we got here. West Chicago, maybe about 651. It's going to be depending on a lot of factors. But overall, Glendale Heights around 703. You have Naperville around 706. You get to Villa Park around 713. Elmhurst around 719. And new tornado warning. We'll go to that in a second.
Mason, the same possible multiple tornadoes on the
733 for Elmwood Park, and then Oak Park at about 738. So it's this right about here. So let's go to our tornado warning. Let's clear that out there. We're going to take the KLOT radar. And we'll see what it has. I looked at this a second ago, and I should have actually mentioned that, but there is a little area of spin on the radar that might try to spin something up there. Let's see some areas. So DeKalb proper is not included in this, but Maple Park, Waterman, those regions. You have two main road networks to look at. So it's going to be State Route 30, or State Road 30 rather, and State Road 23 that we are watching with this here. Checking Twitter for any accurate reports that we might have here. Again, if you guys see something that is credible, feel free to ping me in Weather Lobby. I'll check on it when I can. But overall, trying to zoom in here a little bit. Hunter Hurley is actually on the cell near Paw Paw, and even if you don't get a tornado, it is a beautiful storm structure, which that's kind of what we hope for. Is that you don't want real destruction, but cool storms are pretty cool, and that's what we're getting with that there, and maybe even have the threat of a tornado with time, but it's something just to keep an eye on. Maybe near Paw Paw, we had a little tiny spin up, maybe touched the ground. It could have just been a funnel cloud report. That is very possible. We have about 9 new tweets here. Let's see. So live by Compton Falls, Illinois. I think Timmer's on that one. So, a little something to watch there. A lot of
Is
people
anybody having
are.
trouble with Radar Omega not giving you new warnings? Like, I can't see the warnings you're looking at, Mason. Sorry for that. I just
I'm
can't
not having
see.
any issues.
It will take a little bit of time. WSV3 is typically the first kind of software to get the warnings due to its servers it uses, so that could be why it's going to take a little bit to query on other apps. But nonetheless, I see a lot of, just one little disclaimer, some people are tweeting StormNet. So if you see StormNet probabilities or come across them, take it with a grain of salt. This is not a product that has a AMS article on it that explains exactly the algorithms it uses, so I can't really 100% recommend it to anyone. Sure, you can look at it for a general idea, but you still gotta look at radar to get a general idea of these storms. But besides that, I still do have a tornado warning in effect, about 3 at this time. So that's going to be I-80 areas around there. So we're going to get a kind of overview here in 1 second. We're going to go to satellite and radar. I'm just going to check something real quick. Let's see here. We don't have any real reports. Let me check a few other servers for more information. So let's see, 619. Yeah, a little bit of shear near there. A lot of people are talking about this cell right here that's going until 7:15 with a tornado warning. A lot of people are talking about those cells that are trying to drop.
He was just screaming at a funnel cloud I saw in the weather lobby. Oh my god, funnel cloud, big time tornado.
Let's see what we have here. New tornado warning out.
Southern DeKalb County in north central.
Oh yeah, right. Ryan is so crazy right now.
So, what they are doing is, so these are actually 2 separate storms, believe it or not. And what's happening is we're transferring over from. Actually, no, this is the same warning office, I believe. Yeah, Chicago. I thought this was a CWA switch, but it is not. Let's go over to the reflectivity, or velocity rather, and kind of see. So, yeah, this is where we had the tornado on the ground, possibly so near Paw Paw. Those regions we were watching, Compton, maybe a little bit of spin right there as well. But my main area would be north of Waterman. Maybe you have a little bit of something, and opposed to before, like I was saying, we are starting to moisten a little bit more, which would support stronger type storms. With this here, and you can see 57, 63, those regions there. The warm front, or the south mode that we were talking about before, that would have had maybe a higher end threat, is not really doing much, and as expected is the one near the kind of warm front dry line mix. Now, none of these storms are attached to the warm front by any means, but it is a little something that we are watching. So let's go back over to the Doppler view. Tornado warnings in effect. We're going to go down from the top all the way to this other tornado warning. So this one's going until 7:15. Waterman, you have, let's see, another area, State Route 23, State Route 30. Hail size, you're going to get some hail with it, but nothing all too bad out of it. Maybe an inch. Shear rate. Okay, we're going to actually stick with this one, because we have a little area of higher end rotation. And yeah, it's definitely showing up there, so pretty strong rotation. I'm actually move over GR2 radar real quick for everyone who's watching about this area here. So Manlius, those regions, Princeton, this is really starting to die off a little bit, but nothing all too bad with it at the moment. We are going to start focusing on this area, though, as I think this rotation is really starting to wrap up on itself here. So Waterman, those regions, maybe even Caneville are those regions, which kind of concerns me because we're starting to get into more populated regions, so near Chicago. But mind you, this is still a bit far away from Chicago proper, so we'll call about 60 miles or so, but you need to start getting prepared for if you one are in a severe thunderstorm warning, which will happen probably pretty soon, or even a tornado warning with time. So we are pretty close to that happening. But what I'm more concerned about is that we are getting a new scan on the radar here. And I want to see if this extreme kind of rotation is still there, and that's not supposed to happen. So can't tell if it still is. I think it's just a broken scan. It should fix itself here once it's done. We'll go ahead and wait there. But tornado warning towards the south, and yeah, it did go ahead and decrease on itself. So no more of that strong rotation, but it's still kind of there.
When you get ready, we're gonna analyst briefing. I know you're probably gonna wait for a more significant event.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for something more, but a lot of people are behaving themselves, and if anyone has questions, feel free to ask. That's kind of why we keep it here a little bit, since everyone surprisingly are being not chaotic, I would say.
There's a lot of people in this call.
Yeah,
and
I want to
everybody's
thank
very
you all for that. I joined because I think it's one of the most I've seen in one of our VCs in a long time, and I was afraid it was going to be chaos, but you guys are being incredibly well behaved, and Mason, I mean, you're doing awesome as always.
I appreciate it, but nonetheless, still do have some tornado warnings in effect. So right about here is your rotation. So Waterman, those regions, see around State Route 30. It's kind of getting a little more messy on the velocity side of things. We can go back over to the shear rate product. And it's a lot smaller. You're not seeing those higher end colors, which means it could be dying down a little bit. Doesn't mean you won't have a tornado.
I hate to interject, but that is on the ground.
Okay, where do we, is that from Timmer?
That'll be from CC.
CC, pretty large.
From
Oh,
CC.
wow.
Apparently Reed Timmer has
wow.
2
They
tornadoes on the
confirmed
ground.
Yeah, they confirmed.
Twins?
Possibly. I can't 100% confirm it, but we might actually have.
Where is he?
I'm pretty sure there's a CC on. You can see it on reflectivity if you look closely.
Yeah, you can. I'm zooming in. Yeah, you can.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually go over to a more higher resolution radar, and that is a tornado on the ground of the newest scan. So north of Waterman, kind of around those areas we mentioned before, possibly 2 tornadoes on the ground, but I don't want to forget these storms over here as well. So we're gonna look at them real quick. So maybe near Paw Paw, these regions, you could get a storm that could maybe wrap up on itself and produce a tornado. But our main cell is going to be right about here. And what I'm going to do is switch over to another region. In C.
Hey Mason. On the observed tornado warning, it was by weather spotters. So
yeah, we have weather spotters and the Doppler confirming it as well. So that's about 2 sources that we have. So tornado is on the ground producing damage right now north of Waterman. And what I want to do is put on our correlation coefficient, and you can see it clear as day. I'm going to keep it smoothed for the fact of it's a lot easier to contrast it and point out an exact area that we're looking at here. And what county is this going to be in? This is going to be in DeKalb County. So what we're going to do, bear with me, I want to get street level mapping in so we can point out exact kind of roads that are being impacted right now. So we're going to call Illinois, and that's going to be DeKalb County. That's inside of that. Let's do DeKalb County. Let's go ahead and download that there. It's going to take a little bit, but once we zoom in, you can see this is more of a grid type road network. So the main areas, it is starting to die out on the debris tracker, which is our correlation coefficient product, but nonetheless we have possible tornado going on. So you have Miller Road, you have towards the north, you have I think, let's see a few other ones. Owens. I'm just going to start plotting a lot of these. I don't know how to pronounce half of these, so I'm not going to butcher them. Lee Road. You also have Seagrow Road. And then this is the town of Hickley, or Hinckley, down towards the south, which has Phillips Road near there. So this is our correlation coefficient drop. That's going until 7 p.m. confirmed on the ground. Zoom in a little bit more. So this is what we see, as I talked about before. When you see a tornado debris signature or those deeper colors, it's essentially telling the radar that there's not rain with this. It's not hail. It's nothing meteorological. It's something that is non-uniform in nature with the rain. So this is, it could be farm equipment, since we're in very rural parts of Illinois. It could be parts of homes. It could be mainly anything that it's non-meteorological being lofted into the air, the radar scanning that, and giving us that return back. So I want to stay on this real quick. I understand there are other tornado warnings, but this one is confirmed on the ground. So we're just going to wait and see what it does. If we go over to our other products here, so shear rate maybe shows that it's starting to die down a little bit. I'm not going to buy that just yet, as our velocity product, rather, still shows something there. If this would actually load. And we're just going to go over to GR2 real quick. I don't have time for that to load. It's still there doing its thing, but it seems like on the newest scan it did go ahead and die out there, which it could very much try to recycle, but it definitely looks dead for right now. Nonetheless, if you are in these regions as before, so that would be areas like Miller Road, Owens Road, Phillips Road, Lee Road, those regions, you do want to be in a more substantial place of shelter for this. So, if you do have any questions, would not be opposed to that as well. Let's go and clear these here. North of DeKalb also looks pretty interesting as well. If we go and put on storm relative velocity, if this wants to load, we're just gonna have to do this real quick. Bear with me. So, still watching that rotation. It looks a lot more broad than when it was actually warned on the by the National Weather Service. DeKalb, you're not formally in a warning, but I am watching this little broad area of circulation near the Cortland region. We are going to go more south, and we are having some issues with the velocity. But nonetheless, maybe near Waterman, another area near Waterman, you need to be on the lookout for this little area too. Go back on the debris tracker. We're going to see if there's anything. It's still a lot broad in nature, so near Miller Road, those regions. We're going to also go over here, since people over in the Manlius area near Ohio and Walnut are currently still in a tornado warning. They can go ahead and just cancel this. I'll go ahead and give the all clear for this region. I normally never do this, but there is zero rotation with this now. It's just going to be a strong wind type threat. And I'm pretty sure that's going until 7. They're going to have to go ahead and cancel that there. Our main kind of cell threat is right about here. Go ahead and put on K-Lot. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And there's a little bit there. We did have some new reports, it seemed.
It looks like they're twins again. It's showing up on velocity. It looks like they're twins again. I'm not sure, but if I bet, I would.
Monster, just tell us where though.
Reflectivity is really concerning.
What to the west?
What I want to see real quick, we might have got new soundings in, and we do have 0Z soundings, so we're going to stop real quick and look at these.
I just wanted to go ahead and... I'm sorry, Mason, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What I was going to go ahead and say is that it won't let me video chat so I can send one of the TV stations up. I just want to know if somebody could fix that by any chance.
I don't think it is, but we're doing some live coverage here, so feel free to tune in. Anyways, as I was saying before, there is some pretty strong lapse rates with this. You're about 9 degrees Celsius per kilometer, but this isn't really going to have a tornado threat since it is behind the warm front, so we're going to need something a little more post-frontal, which we unfortunately don't have, but there might still be some sort of EML in place. which would lead to less of a tornado threat with time. So what we are going to do is look back at the storm here. There's a little bit of rotation, so near Cortland region, the velocity product is showing that you have your winds going towards and away, so maybe some broader rotation. I'd still be on the lookout. So if we pull up our shear rate product, you can see that it's still trying to do something, but it's very broad in nature, and especially if you look at velocity, or reflectivity rather. I'm not seeing nothing that's too concerning at the moment. I do want to see storm reports and stuff to see if people are reporting this still on the ground producing damage. So Waterman, the area I was just mentioning before, could very much be trying to drop on the ground. We gave a little bit of heads up a second ago. So Waterman, those regions, you're not seeing nothing on the debris tracker. I don't think that's anything. Nope. It's going to be mainly this area right here. So south of 30, it's going to go over to 23. Those regions there, but this is really kind of messy, I'll say, for the most part.
Can I just ask you a quick question?
Sure, might as well.
I am in Chicago, like the very north part of Chicago, almost like Winnetka area. Do you think I should be getting ready to take shelter, or do you think I have a couple more minutes before I need to do anything?
So, if you're north of Chicago, let's say near the Glenview area,
I'm
kind
Evanston.
of in the middle. So Evanston,
right here.
Evanston, so yeah, you're not in any sort of warning. Just be prepared. You are in a tornado watch until 10 p.m. That's the entire region over here in that tornado watch. So kind of the best thing to do would just be prepared. I don't know what happened there. I guess they just end. But really be prepared just for maybe some severe thunderstorm warnings to come through. You could get some gustier winds in nature. Maybe a little bit of hail, but at the moment, you don't need to be nervous. Just have a little bit of light rain and stuff, and maybe a few rumbles, or rumbles of thunder, rather. Let's go back to.
I appreciate the answer of the question. Thank you very much.
There's a little bit of showers out here,
Just
but that's
that one person that was in
much.
Chicago. I've been watching WGN and some of their coverage as well. So if anything pops out on their end, I would share it with you guys too. But apparently, the camera operation is not working for me today because one of the mods probably got rid of it.
No, it's because there's so many people in BC that it stops working.
There's nothing we turned off.
It's everyone.
I am watching WGN right now as well.
As I said, I would share it if I had to, but unfortunately, I'm not able to.
So, Waterman, these regions, you do have State Route 30, State Route 23 still in the warning box, and good thing on the next scan, it did loosen up on its rotation, so it's a lot less broad. What we like to see with these are, if you did want to see a tornado, you would want it more tight, and that's not something that we're seeing, but it leads me to believe that more towards the north, and also our shear rate it's still a little bit strong, so maybe it wraps up. But really, right here has been what we're watching, and it's been holding some strong rotation for right now. Let's see what we have here. I'm trying to see any more storm reports. Nothing really, so that's good. Let me see if I have any other pings that people are mentioning me in. We did have some damage that occurred, it seems. That's some farm equipment, since we're in a lot of rural areas. So it is something to note. Delta balloon launched. Oh, this is actually Mount Vernon. So Mount Vernon is located, if someone can refresh my memory.
Mount Vernon is kind of in the middle of that warning, I think. Let me check. Mount Vernon. That's out to the west of Arlington Heights. I do believe it is in. You said.
I'll go ahead and just look real quick.
You said what is
Mount Vernon is going to be towards the south, so it's going to be right about here. If I can find.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mount Vernon, the town in Chicago, in one of the warnings up here. Sorry about that.
No, unless there's two Mount Vernons, which
there is. There's Mount Vernon Hills, and then there's Mount Vernon.
Well, I
Mount
think
Vernon
this
Hills is a
Mount
town.
Vernon.
You're warning. Mount Vernon is a city in Illinois, I believe.
So I
I
think
will
it's going
say
to be the
this
one
though:
more
the
towards
2
the
tornado
south,
warnings are
but-
making a beeline for downtown Chicago. I mean, it's only probably going to be maybe 2 hours before they're in downtown Chicago.
So, Mount Vernon, we did get a observed balloon launch. So what they did is launched it, and they got some pretty interesting data. So this is the area where I said was pretty dry before, and that seems to be the case. But then again, if you can get storms to actually work through this environment and overcome it, a significant tornado is still possible with that kind of wind profile there. So something to note with that. I'm gonna look at a few other products. We still do have warnings in effect, but
Tornado
that's a new one.
For West Central Kane County in northeastern Illinois. 7 p.m.
We have a new tornado warning.
So that's going to be for this area right here, just a little extension. So that's going to be over near the Elburn area, Maple Park. It's for this little embedded messy cell that's trying to move out of that region there. And our shear rate is still showing that maybe right about here you could see some sort of tornado. And it's very broad in nature, but what they're going to do as a course of least regret is just put Lily Lake, put I-80, put Maple Park, and put Elburn under a warning. So what you're going to do is seek some shelter, lowest level, interior room, all of that good stuff. Now, it is starting to move near Chicago, but at the region, or at the moment rather, you guys are not in any sort of severe thunderstorm warning or any of that, but that will change here pretty soon as we get a little bit closer
Probably
to there.
within the next hour and a half,
So,
it's probably going to change.
let's go back into the Doppler view and see that, yeah, Lily Lake, you're probably getting into a lot of that heavier stuff.
I wouldn't
but
be
back
surprised
into
if they don't
Taub,
severe
back into
thunderstorm warning.
Waterman, those regions, you're definitely getting a lot of hail if we look at our product there. So, little something to note. I think this area towards the south is a lot more broad, I would say. Looks kind of more like a line configuration. So what's happening is, maybe these little notches try to do something and produce brief tornadoes, but at the moment it doesn't seem all too
They might
significant.
tornado warn that northern portion up near Maple Park too, because it looks like this is going to go out of the polygon on both of them.
Do you see there's a rotation
might.
like, directly west of Elgin a little bit?
Elgin. Is it Elgin or Elgin?
By the way, quick question. When's our main southern threat going to kick off?
That's one thing I want to get under control real quick. So it's Elgin or Elgin?
You're talking Elburn?
Elgin.
No, Elgin, like the area.
Elgin.
Chicago. We're gonna call it Elgin. You guys will know what it is. So Elgin, maybe there's a little bit of something with it. We'll go to Velocity. Yeah, kind of near Gilbert's. Those regions.
Velocity.
It's a little bit broad, but that can always wrap up with time. There's really 3 distinct circulations that we're watching, and
this is probably one of the.
Again, let's go ahead
with
and
the
put
environment
on
that it's in,
color.
there's probably a good chance that ramps up.
Debatable. The environment is still not all that good, because if I go out and turn on the dew points, this is probably going to be a little more elevated. It's in about 57, but then again, there could be some dry air acting on that, which would lower the overall threat for a tornado.
This may sound stupid, but I may just go downstairs in preparation just for when they do issue a severe thunderstorm warning.
Mason, I have 2 things to say.
Alright, might as well go for it.
So,
that's...
If you look near Waterman, there is a CC drop there, possible tornado on the ground. And also, next question, when is the southern mode going to kick off?
So, southern mode, the issue with that is there's a lot of dry air, so it has a lot of stuff to work through. And as for the CC drop, rather, I can't talk, I don't think that's a CC drop. It's just very cluttered. It's possible, but I'd rather more consistency with it. But it's been liking Maple Park. We do have some pretty strong rotations showing up there. I'm trying to see if there's any other areas people are watching.
I don't see a CC drop either on either one of the tornado warning polygons.
So let's see what we have. Check a few other sources, see what everyone else is kind of seeing right now, and kind of about the same. So far, we may have had a few tornadoes on the ground. So far, nothing significant, but it is something to keep a very close eye on as you move on throughout time. So if you are near the Chicago Metro, I'll go and throw on SatRad, and we can take a little wider view at everything here. So you can definitely see that Chicago proper, Evanston, Oaklawn, those regions, you're you're not in any sort of severe thunderstorm warning. However, you are in a tornado watch until I think that goes to about 10 p.m. there. But what's going to happen is this
It'll be
line is
11 p.m.
continuing to
Eastern,
move.
for those that
So
are
what's
following.
going to happen is they're going to probably issue another severe thunderstorm warning just to include those areas right about there. Zoom in a little bit more. See what we're having here.
I'm
So
just
I'm
going
going to
to
go
head
storm
into the basement
relative.
right now, just in case we do get a severe thunderstorm warning. Just so that way, because my whole computer radar setup is up right now, and I really don't want to rush it all down within a matter of seconds. So I'm just going to grab everything right now. So I'm going to go on mute for a couple minutes, and I'll be back.
This might actually be a little more outflow dominant. So essentially, it's going to be less of a tornado threat. Our shield product is still off the walls with this, but I'm not 100% buying this. It still looks a little bit broad, rather. Brandon Cop Extreme.
That I can't tell what the hell that is, to be honest.
Maybe it's some sort of funnel. It's very hard to tell. Again, when it's nighttime, it's a little harder to see necessarily. Let's check a few other areas. So there may have been, that was a little bit ago with that other report. But so far, so good. We haven't had anything all too significant. And I think that will remain the same for right now. We still have a few dry air issues to work out with this here. I'm just looking at this
Mason, I agree
fire
with you
that occurred in
90%,
Chicago.
but I want to make one difference here. We can't say that there wasn't anything significant yet, because the National Weather Service in particular has not done their
Well, it's not necessarily true. I mean, if you saw damage, which I've seen before, it's nothing significant. We haven't had a
but I'm just trying to say that we
correlation
say all the time not to pre-rate tornadoes, so that's why I just wanted to make sure I put that up.
It's not pre-rating. I'm going to clear that up as well. But nonetheless, there hasn't been anything significant, which is confirmed. But Gilbert's, those areas, we're now seeing a little more tornado warnings starting to push into the region. So let's see here. Northernmost, you're going to have that going until 7:30 or so. So it's going to be areas like Carpenterville, Gilbert, Elgin. Those regions are going to be included with it. Maybe a little bit of circulation trying to wrap up there. So again, Gilbert's, Pingree Grove, I believe, might be trying.
That's a brand new tornado warning just got issued for that.
Correlation coefficient, but there is a little bit of shear that we need to watch out for there. And more towards the southern region, we are watching this cell that looks a lot more disorganized over the last few runs. But nonetheless, if there was something I was really watching, it'd be near the Hickory region. So along State Route 30, those regions there, you might have something, but so far so good. We haven't had too many tornado reports, but we have had a few on the ground. All have been pretty, lower end, it seems. We did get a few other reports that I think were false in nature. We had one that was large, but I'm not really buying that, since a lot of the videos showed it a lot more elevated. And once again, when a storm has a higher base top, typically that's a lot more that it has to work through.
There's a tornado on Restream right now.
Southern Kane County in northeastern Illinois. 7 p.m.
Not sure where Reed is. Let me find out.
Oh, I see that.
So it seems like Reed might have something. I can pull up his stream real quick and see, but there is a new tornado warning that is pushing more towards the Chicago metro region.
I imagine it's Hickley, or Hickley, whatever. The one you were just looking at.
And I'm trying to see. There's getting a
Hinkley.
lot of lightning.
Yeah,
And yep,
Hinkley.
there is a tornado on the ground, and that does match up with the reflectivity. And it's this cell right here that just got tornado warned. So we're going to go ahead and call this a confirmed tornado, moving out of the Hickley area into Sugar Grove and those regions. If you look on the debris tracker, we're not seeing no correlation drop, which is good, but your shear is, yeah, that's definitely starting to ramp up. That's pretty much maxing out this product over the region there. So if you're south of 30, north of 34, you do want to be in a more substantial shelter for this.
Mason, I just want to say, you might be pronouncing it wrong. It's Hinkley.
Yeah, I know. I'm 100% pronouncing it wrong.
There's
is there a new tornado warning?
Hinkley, those regions. But Gilbert's, those areas, you have a little bit of broad rotation. There's nothing all too significant. But right about here, Maple Park, Elburn, those regions, we're going to keep a very close eye on. This warning is going to be allowed to get canceled, 100%.
Hey,
But
Mason, if you weren't aware, Reed is on that.
yeah, that's the one that's towards the south, I believe. He's Hickley. This is the one that has shown that it could be doing something over the last few scans there.
Chris Ivory is now taking over for time scaling. They are currently showing right now a CC drop in
Only a little bit of bullying.
I don't know why you said Chris Ivory. That would be Demetrius Ivory, sir.
did I just screw it up again?
Yes.
It's fine.
I am so sorry, guys.
New update.
It's
We're almost
fine.
at about 7 p.m. So almost 7 p.m. on your Tuesday afternoon. We are tracking some tornadoes, so I want to start from the top, and then we're going to work our way in. Tornado watch is in effect. That is going until 10 p.m. And so far, we haven't seen anything that has been too significant. However, we are still watching, and we still do have a lot of time to go. Now, as I stated before, the storms really towards the south are not as severe as we were seeing or expecting, which will be mainly because of the dry air issue. We have a lot of dry air to work through, and it's just not able to really do that at the moment. So what that has left us with is our northern mode, and this is really starting to race towards the Chicago metro area. If I had to give maybe
Mason,
some storm times of arrivals for this, we can track this out. We'll have to do it a little bit faster here.
Yeah, Mason, I just did a timing on the radar scope side of it. I came up with between 9:30 and 9:45, and that would be for Metro Chicago.
So what we have so far, we have Elgin about 7:09. You have Naperville around 7:37. You have Bolingbrook around 7:51, Oak Park around 8:08, and Metro Chicago, possibly give or take 8:20, 8:23-ish. So that's tracking it out to about
I've got it
8:30.
Well, I said 9:30 because that was the Eastern time for it, but you probably might be right too if these storms do end up being quicker. I think it's probably going to be in between both of our measurements.
To Storm Relative, and it's still going pretty strong here if we put on live scan. Try to get some faster scans with this. What I will do, actually, what we are able to pull up is the terminal Doppler radar site, so we're able to scan a lot lower in the atmosphere, and you can definitely notice with this, if it does want to load. So mainly two areas of rotation. You have your Hinkley cell, which is no longer in a warning, but right about here as it moves into Sugar Grove, we could have some rotation right there. You also have the Elburn area, which has some broader rotation that we're watching, and the very broad rotation over near Gilbert that is in a tornado warning still until 7:30. So little something to watch. Sugar Grove, those regions, just show some pretty strong rotation for Elburn and those regions. Let's go back over
got a lot better reading on those 2 cells that you just looked at, I wouldn't use the terminals yet till it gets into Metro Chicago.
I mean, terminal is looking a lot lower than your next reds are, so it's giving us a better view at a little cost for data, but
It was
it's giving
very
us the
messy,
idea
though,
of...
even on your stream. It was very messy.
Well, I mean, that's
Mason?
kind of how terminals are. But, forgot what I was saying. 2, kind of, maybe 3 circulations out we were watching, so Aurora, those regions. We're going to go back to the next red. Turn that off, go to shear rate, and it's still holding strong as it goes to about 30 there. Go back over to storm relative velocity. Sugar Grove, so you have 30, 47, new warning. They are finally bringing it to observed, it seems. I'm not sure if Timmer still has it on the ground. I'm not seeing any confirmed reports from other sources yet. But nonetheless...
Okay, there was one just posted in the weather lobby, confirming the tornado.
Mason, would you like me to help you for a couple minutes?
Tornado. What was that?
Would you like me to help you for a couple minutes talking, because you've been talking for a little bit now? So, if you want me to help you a little bit, I can.
Just the main thing: ping me in reports. If you see something reliable, that's a good source. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I do have. I do have.
I've got one from Alex Riesel. Give me 1 second. I'm going to send it in the weather lobby.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That was the little cone.
I'm checking the Weather Service Twitter,
Then never mind
Instagram, and.
What was that, Hunter?
You're gonna be better off pinging Mason either in weather lobby or in DMs rather than trying to talk over him. Because when we need to get information, it's crucial that we don't have any overlapping if we can keep running.
That is true. Sorry about that, kid.
No.
Okay,
No,
so...
I just want to say that for everybody.
You have Gilbert, Carpenterville. This is the same area we've been watching for a little while now. Again, shear rate. Maybe some stronger rotation. It likes to overdo, so I'd say probably some stronger type signatures right about there. Not seeing nothing on the debris tracker, but a little something to watch. That's going until 7:30. This one right here near Lily Lake, over to about Elburn. We're not seeing anything too bad at the moment. Maybe some broad rotation trying to spin up there. We do have a few chasers that I'm seeing in other sources that are on this, so if they have anything, I will mention it, of course. But Sugar Grove, I-88, this all seems very broad for the moment. We're not seeing any drops in the correlation, but the South Storm has been confirmed on the ground in the past. Not sure if it still is on the ground, but of course that goes into about 7:30 as well.
So Mason, I can confirm 5 notches in this line. 2 of them are in the upper tornado warning. I've got the 3rd one, which is in the polygon just below it, and then there's 2 actually over near Aurora.
So yeah, we just went over some of that, but now to the Sugar Storm. A little bit of broad rotation. I'm not really seeing nothing too much. What I will do is...
There we go, AFK again. Be right back, guys.